Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it has been a hot minute since I have been on here. It's been an unexpected 2 weeks. I was called to pull back from my personal readings, from client readings for the rest of the month. I'm going to extend that into July, except for those who are in need of spiritual guidance. So career readings, general love readings, I'm going to hold off for the month of July. But if you are in need of ascension, spiritual awakening, any kind of personal readings of that nature, feel free to reach out to me and I will be open to those. Feel free to reach out to me regardless and we'll discuss what you need and get you booked in for the beginning of August. I was called to do that in order to kind of replenish my energy, but that kind of extended to the collective readings unexpectedly. There has been a lot going on that I'm going to talk about in a minute. We're going to get into a reading today, but I do want to talk about what has been going on with the energies first. So, it's interesting because I was called to pull back from personal readings, and I was talking to a friend of mine who also does some energy healing, and she said that she was called to do that as well. So it really does feel like collective, and what we've been experiencing the past 2 weeks has been very energetically heavy, very energetically intense, especially with this eclipse season, this eclipse cycle that we've been in. We have the third and final eclipse coming up on July 4th, 5th with the full moon. And then we're heading into August, the 8/8 portal in August. So this has been it's been a very heavy 2020. It's been a very heavy first half of the year for the collective, but this is truly a great awakening. This is truly an ascension on a mass global scale. But let me pull back a minute and talk about why I was called to pull back. Number one, I was called to pull back for my own journey. But I understood that had repercussions. I want to be here for you guys. I want to be of service to you guys. That is my role here. That is why I'm here. This isn't just a job for me. This is a passion. This is my light work. This is also what helps me connect me to source, what helps me connect me to the collective, helps me connect me back to myself. This truly feels like mission work for me. And I love, love, love what I do. I love being of service to all of you. So I was called to pull back for my own journey, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I also understood from Spirit that it was because there have been so many in the collective who are becoming attached to readings, to energy work, and to the insight of others rather than by going within themselves. And so I understood that was a connection that I needed to make after the fact. I didn't understand this as I was pulling back. I didn't understand any of this. All I knew was that I was getting called in other directions. I was getting called to work on my own healing, to work on my own journey, to trust within myself. A lot going on there. But when I sat in meditation today, I understood that there was a whole big connection that was going on here. So number one, that my viewers, the collective, really needed to trust within themselves, really needed to go within themselves and trust their own intuition, trust their own journeys, and trust what their own self, their soul self was telling them. So, I did not want to abandon you guys. I hope you guys did not feel abandoned. There was truly a lot going on, and this was for a purpose that I did not recognize until now. The second thing was that there was a lot going on energetically in my own personal connection. I was doing a lot of transmuting for the collective, which made me have to pull back from doing readings because my energy was just being so drained. So I had to pull back. I was being called to pull back because I was doing a lot of transmuting off camera. I was doing a lot of transmuting within dream state. I was doing a lot of transmuting within meditation, and I was doing a lot of transmuting with my divine masculine. I spent the majority of the past 2 weeks, about 90% of the time, with my divine masculine. And I know on this journey, we're like, oh, that sounds so great. That sounds so beautiful. And it was. There were pockets of joy, and there was so much love underneath, all of the heavy energy. But it was heavy. It was heavy because of this collective energy. this collective energy is permeating everything at this time. I don't like to say the dark versus the light anymore. It really is lower consciousness versus higher consciousness, but not even a versus. What we're doing is we're really ascending into higher consciousness, but that lower consciousness really tries to hold on, really tries to pull us down into that matrix reality, into that, you know, what it was like to be asleep, what it was like to just go through the motions, what it was like to just feel stuck and not remember the truth of who you are, not to remember the power of who you are. Where higher consciousness is really remembering your true abundance, remembering your true light, remembering who you truly are and how powerful you are. Not powerful in a corrupt way, but powerful in a way of, I get to create. I get to live in this energy of joy and love, and not one of suffering and lack and scarcity anymore. I get to create my landscape. I get to create my reality with all these other beautiful people, in harmony with all these other beautiful souls. That is that unity consciousness, understanding that we are all connected, that we are not divided. But that division is where that 3D matrix really sits, that lower consciousness really sits. It's really where that energy really tries to drain you and pull you down. And that's what was happening. It's illusion. It's illusion. It's fear. And that fear was really trying to get hold. You know, divine masculines were sitting in that. Divine feminines were getting pulled back into that. And so divine feminines, I know I was going through this. I was really trying to maintain that stability within myself. And as such, I had to pull back from these readings. I had to pull back and focus on my own journey and focus on my own stability and really that sovereignty and that power within, my connection within. And it was tough, you guys. It was very, very tough. A few days ago was one of the worst nights. You know, I had been maintaining that balance. I'd maintaining that high vibration, seeing marked change in my connection with my divine masculine, especially because of the change that was going on in me. If you have been on the channel for a while, even if you haven't, I really encourage you to go back to the last few readings where we talk about the inner union, because that is what it's all about. It's about connecting to yourself, connecting to God, source energy, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it, and finding that balance within, finding that union within with your own inner masculine, with your own inner feminine, because as you do that, that's what translates into your physical connection. And there has been marked change. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you the beautiful energy that was coming through in my connection, but we were going through a lot of upheaval as well, a lot of intense energy and purging that was being worked through. My divine masculine was purging a lot of anger. I was purging a lot of fear. But what was beautiful is we were actually doing it together. Did not always feel pretty, did not always look pretty, but we always came back to the love. The love was what existed, and when I remembered the love, I was able to pull back from the illusion. Now, a couple of nights ago was one of the heaviest nights that I've ever experienced, where it felt like a psychic attack. It felt like all the heaviness and all the intensity and all the darkness of the collective was being brought upon me. I felt completely lost. I felt completely disconnected. I felt a heaviness within my chest, within my heart. I felt a heaviness about the entire journey. And I just spent half the night calling in my angels, calling in my dragon, calling in my spirit guides. I talked about this. I had a similar experience a couple of weeks ago as well. And, you know, Archangel Michael was there, Mother Mary was there, all working with me to transmute this. A couple of days ago, it was so heavy, it was very, very difficult to transmute. I woke up at 6 in the morning. I talked to my divine masculine, and I'm like, I have to transmute this. Like, I don't want to sit in this. I feel completely alone. I feel completely lost. And we ended up doing, you know, he was doing some meditation, he was doing some work on himself, and I came up to my sanctuary, my sacred space, my office here, and lit some candles, called in protection, was working with gems, and really tried raising my vibrations to one of joy and bringing myself back to balance and connecting again to source, connecting again to God, connecting again to myself, connecting again to the love. And once I connected in there, the illusions began to almost like fractal out. I began to see the illusions and see the truth of love. And that is what is real. Love is what is real. The darkness makes it feel like it's real. The heavy energy makes it feel like it's real because of the emotion that's attached to it, because of the intensity that's attached to it, because of the fear that is attached to it. But love transcends fear. It truly, truly does. And it's not easy. It's not easy to face that darkness. It's not easy to face that intensity. It's not easy to feel that fear, especially when it's your own fears coming up, especially when it's collective fears that are triggering your own subconscious residue that's coming up. But the more you come back to the love, the more you focus on that love, the more you focus on that joy. My Divine Masculine and I, we ended up dancing in the kitchen, and that is what those high vibrations of dance and flow, that energy of laughter, is what it's like the darkness just erupted. That's what it felt like. It felt like the darkness and the intensity just erupted, and the light came back in. And the rest of the day was forward momentum into more love, into more joy. Doesn't mean that what's happening in the physical doesn't exist. You can't ignore what's happening in your physical reality. But shift your perspective and shift your mindset to it is okay. It will always be okay. You will always be okay. You are protected. You are supported. You are living in love. And once you're living in that place of love, once you're living in that place of faith, that is how you know you can shift your reality. Your current reality is your reality. You can't ignore the current reality. That's your present moment. Accept your present moment. That present moment of acceptance is what you use to create your future. So in your present moment, that present point of power, in your present moment, by me accepting that fear, by me accepting, acknowledging this illusion, this is fear, this is illusion, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm experiencing, I'm going to take this present moment, accept that this is what I'm feeling now, and try to transmute it. That was my decision. That was my choice. That was me deciding to shift my mindset into, okay, I'm here now. What can I do to make it better? So we danced, and I meditated, and I worked with my crystals, and I worked with my spirit team, and I connected back to myself. Those were all choices that I made to change the energy, and that energy began to change, and because the energy changed, so did the outward reality. So it's really important to not ignore what you're experiencing, not sweep it under the rug, but to use that acceptance and that acknowledgement and be able to shift that energy. You can shift that energy. So if you're feeling that darkness, if you're feeling that heaviness, if you're feeling that intensity, if you're feeling it because of just you're feeling the energies as a whole, if you're experiencing something in your physical reality that's making you feel heavy, accept it. Appreciate it. Appreciate where you are from where you've been. Acknowledge it and know that you can change it by changing your mindset. By saying, okay, this is where I am, but this is not where I'm going to stay. This is where I'm heading. I'm going to shift my mindset to one of abundance, to one of love, to one of compassion, to one of openness, to one of understanding. That I have the power to not sit and wallow in this negative energy. That is how you change it. And you take action too. You take action, to shift that as well. Every action that you take from a place of love, from a place of compassion, has a ripple effect as well. So I hope that makes sense. So we have been in this really, really difficult energy. So that is why I have not been here. I've been really busy transmuting, really busy working on connecting back to myself, working with my Divine Masculine to transmute the energy, to change the energy, to clear the energy. It has been very difficult. It has not been easy, you guys. It's not been easy. And that's something too to understand. You guys are coming into Sacred Union. There are different segments within my collective that I read for, but for those of you who are here, you are in the process of coming into Sacred Union, first within yourself and then within your divine connection. You're going to start experiencing that within your divine connection. And, I know that there are a lot of readers out there. I fell into this in the beginning as well, where it feels like it's a fairy tale because this love is so powerful. And this love is powerful. This love is true. This love is very, very real. It is unconditional. It is true. But it is also about soul growth and healing first and foremost. It is also about remembering who you are as a soul first and foremost. And because of that, it will not look like maybe you want it to or like you expect it to. Like, it might not look like a soulmate connection. It might not look like a Hollywood, kind of ending right now. That's not to say you're not creating that. Yesterday, my Divine Masculine and I spent a long, long car ride dreaming and co-creating and, for the first time really dreaming about us and what life we want to create for ourselves. And that was beautiful. You are creating with your divine counterpart, but you're also healing together. And so what you're doing right now is balancing out your 3D and your 5D, what you feel within with your physical relationship. And that's going to take a lot of communication. That's going to take a lot of conversation. That's going to take a lot of working together. And, it might not be seamless. Keep focusing on the love. Keep focusing on the energy that you're feeling. Keep focusing on the compassion. Keep focusing on the open heart and removing the patterns of past cycles. Some past cycles and past patterns might still be cropping up, but you're letting go of that. You're letting go of the past in order to move into the future. So when I say the 3D and or the physical plane, I should say, they don't want me to say 3D anymore. When we're talking about the physical plane and the energy, we're talking about, when you're coming together into reunion with your divine counterpart, you might have some periods of withdrawal. You might have some periods of being triggered. You might have some periods where you need to take a step back. You might have some periods where you're arguing with each other. But that is still part of the process of sacred union. Again, it might not always look like that fairy tale that we want, but you are working together. You are working to create that harmony. You're working to create that balance. That's what's most important to understand here, is you're coming into the process of harmonious sacred union, working together. You're not in that energy of separation anymore. That's the past. Put that pattern behind you. You're not separating anymore. That mentality, that mindset of separation is gone. It's over. You are not separate from your counterpart because you're not separate from yourself and you're not separate from Source. You're not separate from God. So if you're still in that energy, work through that. Keep working on that. Remove that energy of separation. This is Trinity consciousness. This is unity consciousness where everyone is connected. Individual, yes. Unique in their makeup, in their experiences, yes. But all connected through the same source energy, all connected through love. Especially you and your divine connection. You're always connected through your energy, through that love that you share, that bond that you share with each other. There is no separation here. That is the division of the lower consciousness. You have ascended out of that. And so what you are truly understanding now as you come into sacred union is how to trust each other, how to have faith in this. You're removing all of that karma of the past patterns, and learning how to work together, how to create together, how to understand together, how to communicate together. That is part of what being in a relationship is. When you're in any kind of relationship, it's about understanding each other, getting to know each other. That's where this is. For me and my divine counterpart, we bicker a lot, we argue a lot, we debate a lot, I should say, because we are so passionate. We're very passionate people, especially around higher consciousness. Especially around talking about ascension, especially around spiritual subjects. And as such, we kind of go head to head with one another. We have the same values, we have the same understanding, but we come about it from two different vantage points. And those two different vantage points sometimes cause some friction. And so we are learning how to work together with that, to see each other's point of view. But what's beautiful about that, I'm imagining how we go for these long car rides and these drives in the back country, and this is when we really talk. And I'm just imagining the past few weeks and how we've talked and communicated and argued, yes, and treated each other, yes, and got mad at each other, yes, but there wasn't an energy of leaving anymore. There wasn't an energy of this isn't going to work. We are fully committed to each other. We're fully recognizing each other as this love, as this connection, and both willing to work together. Is there residual fear coming up? Absolutely. But that's the beauty, is now we are truly working through it together. And that's what sacred union is. Doesn't mean there's not going to be challenges, but you work through it together. Doesn't mean there's not going to be triggers, but you acknowledge it. You be honest with each other. You be honest with yourself about what those triggers are, and you work through it together. It is all about partnership. This is truly a divine partnership. It's about working together, and that's where you are. And if you are in periods of, well, we came together and then we withdrew a little bit, that's all the process of integration. That is part of it as well. That's because you're still processing, they're still processing, and you're going to come back together in more harmony. The energy between you guys is very, very intense, can feel very, very strong. So have compassion and have that open heart. That open heart is everything in this connection. Open heart, no fear. That's what's so important here. Open heart, no fear. Okay. Whew. So I hope I talked about everything that's been going on. We're going to get into a reading. I am going to be back. So for doing collective readings, again, the client readings, reach out to me if you need a client reading. I'll be happy to talk to you and see where I am. And if not, at least schedule out into August when I'll be back for all personal readings. We'll be back for collective readings. It will be slow because, again, we're still sifting through this energy. We have the eclipse coming up. We have the full moon coming up. We have a couple of portals that are opening up. And the energy on the planet is very heavy, very dense, very intense right now because it's a collective purge that is going up. And so you might be experiencing that in your connection with your divine counterpart as well. You might be experiencing a bit of purging. Like I said, my divine masculine was purging anger. I was purging fear. But it's going to be from a different place now. You're going to be doing it from a different place because you have the tools, because you have the awareness, because you have the knowledge, because you have that higher consciousness now. So really be aware of what it is that you're feeling. Know that you can transmute. Know that you can transcend that. Know that you can ascend that. You're going through this ascension process because you are a light worker. You are a way shower. You have the capacity now to transmute the energies, to shift the energies by your mindset, by your heart space. So keep tapping into your heart space. And if you do feel disconnected, if you do feel like a little bit of a dark night of the soul, it's interesting that I went through that a couple of days ago. Like, I felt like a psychic attack because I feel like the collective, what I've been seeing is that the collective is going through that right now. And I feel like that's why they called me to come back as well. Now, I do want to say that there was some interference here where it felt like I was being pulled away from this work. And I recognize that that was some of the darker, lower consciousness forces as well, trying to keep me away. I'm not being kept away. I'm here. I had been doing the work kind of in private because that was what was needed for me at this time. But now I'm being called back by Spirit, and Spirit, I feel them here. They transcend everything. So even today I was feeling a little bit drained. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to go on video. I don't want to do readings. But Spirit gave me a boost of energy and motivation and compassion and love. And so here I am, so trust in that, trust in your connection. Keep calling on your spirit guides. Keep calling on your ascended masters. Keep calling on your angels, galactic council, whoever it is that you are connected with most. Keep calling on that energy to protect you and support you, and keep ascending, transcending any of that darkness. Keep pushing through. This really feels like, the last of it. This really feels like that final push of darkness into light. So keep having faith. Keep pushing through. Keep believing. Keep holding on. Everything is changing. Change doesn't feel good. Change often feels like uncertainty, but that is fear. Keep pushing through that fear. Keep coming back to that knowing. Keep coming back to that love. Keep coming back into your inner heart space, your inner temple, your heart garden. Keep coming back to where you feel most connected. For me, I needed to be in my sanctuary, in my safe space, in my office, just for a few minutes. I've been out and about in the world for the past few weeks. I needed to be here to connect. I needed to be grounded. I needed to feel safe again in this sanctuary. That sanctuary you hold within yourself. So keep connecting back to yourself, and know that you're going through the final push, and you are doing an amazing, amazing job. And this has not been an easy journey, but Spirit is thanking you. The collective is thanking you. The planet is thanking you. I feel they're like, don't forget us. Galactic Council is thanking you. So keep pushing through this. Keep working on yourself. Keep connecting back to yourself. Keep connecting back to the love, because the love is what really anchors you in. The love is truth. The love is truth. Everything else truly is illusion. Truly is what the world wants you to think it is. But love is truth, and love truly does transcend everything. All right, you guys. So I am going to do a quick check-in on the Sacred Union Energy updates. I'm going to record the daily, so you guys have dailies again this week. I'm excited to do that again. I've missed doing those. And we'll be right back. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and we'll be right back. Love you. Bye. All right, you guys. We are back. We have my setup. I am so excited to be back at my desk. You have no idea. It really has been a while. I hadn't pulled cards. I hadn't channeled. I had channeled a little bit, but mostly in personal meditations. So I am really, really glad to be back. All right, let's, I'm getting called to this deck. So we're going to do a check-in. Oh my gosh. And Spirit's like, yes, finally, you're back. I feel like Spirit's like, yep, we're ready to work through you again. So we're going to do a check-in and see what's going on with this Sacred Union Energy update. Patreon subscribers, I know that I had not had any readings for you for June, or many readings for you for June. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for hanging in there for me. I'm going to work on pick-up piles and a romance reading for you tomorrow. And I'm going to have something special for you guys as an added thank you. So stay tuned for that. As an added thank you for your support, I'm going to do something special. So keep an eye out on the Patreon. All right, let's see. We're going to do a quick update just on the general energies and see where you are. And I'm hoping to be back with an ascension energy update as well as a divine masculine, divine feminine check-in. But we're just going to get some overall energies right now. Okay, Spirit, where are these? Where's divine masculine, divine feminine right now? Where are they on their sacred union? What's going on for sacred unions? What's going on for sacred unions? Okay, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what I was feeling. What's interesting about this is I did a reading for my divine masculine, and a lot of these cards came out as well. Well, the message came out with this as well. Okay. Two of Swords, High Priestess, the Sun, and the Six of Swords. As soon as these cards came out, the energy that I was feeling was, remember when I said in the very beginning of my message and my intro that you can't sweep it under the rug, that you can't pull the veil over your eyes? We have the Two of Swords and we have the High Priestess. The High Priestess and the Two of Swords is one of indecision, one of not seeing things for what they are, kind of ignoring reality. The High Priestess is one who keeps secrets. This is giving me moon energy, where what was once kept secret is being revealed. That has been a message that has been coming forth for the past few months, the past few weeks, especially in my readings. Again, I do channel ahead, so do make sure that you check back through the playlist. Anything that calls to you, even stuff from a year ago, is relevant right now. So do make sure that you're checking back on the titles, on the descriptions, to see what might be for you to hear. Because I've gotten some emails from you guys that you've checked in on a reading from a year ago that was relevant to you now. So that's amazing. But especially from the past few months, that's having relevance now. Things that I channeled a couple of months ago. What was once hidden is being revealed here. Any indecision is coming to an end. Anywhere where there was a blindfold over the eyes about this connection, about your life, about who you are, and the connection to your own intuition, connection to your own self is being revealed. The truth is being revealed. The truth of who you are is being revealed. With this High Priestess energy, I'm getting feminine energy, but what's actually interesting is it's coming in as divine masculine. So I feel like the divine masculine is really laying down their guard, unblocking their heart, where they had once had this armament around themselves, this like metal armor around them. They had their guard up. They weren't seeing themselves clearly. They're getting to know themselves, but from their intuition, from their feminine energy. Feminine energy is all about connection. It's all about connection to themselves. It's all about connection to source. Feminine energy really exists in the higher 3 chakras, which is throat chakra, communication, expression, brow chakra, which is intuition and inner knowing, and crown chakra, which is divine connection. Masculine energy is really grounded in the physical plane. Safety and security of the root chakra, emotion, stability, creation energy of the sacral chakra, willpower, personal identity, place in the world of the solar plexus chakra. And you meet in the heart chakra. Remember, it's about inner union. Both energies coming into alignment. The masculine energy rises, divine feminine template comes down. You meet on the bridge of the heart. We channeled that since the very beginning, about 2 years now. You meet on the 4th chakra, the bridge of the heart, and that is where you manifest. That is where love prevails. That is where truth, the truth of love prevails. That's this energy here. The masculine energy truly is rising by balancing out and experiencing their feminine energy. And because of that, the guard is coming down, the blindfold is coming off. They're getting to know themselves. They're starting to see themselves in their truth. They had had a lot of distortions based on patterning, conditioning, trauma, other people's experiences of them, other people's expectations of them, other people telling them who they are, what to do, duties, obligations, addictions, you name it. But now they're seeing the truth of who they are. Now what's being revealed to them is that they are powerful, that they are connected, that they can express themselves and their emotions, that they are balancing out their feminine and masculine energies in a beautiful divine nature. They're getting to know themselves where they weren't able to see themselves. And divine feminine, this could be your masculine energy as well, where you are starting to take control of your life. You are not being overly giving. You are being able to receive. You're able to go with the flow. A lot of feminines, people who are, those of you who connect with the divine feminine energy, a lot of you were in distorted masculine energy for a long time as well. So you're connecting back to your true embodiment of divine feminine energy. Divine masculines are allowing that feminine energy which had been suppressed and repressed to rise within them. That is truly what's happening on this ascension journey as a whole. On a global scale, is feminine energy is rising. We're not talking about female male, we're talking about feminine energy that had been suppressed. The balancing of the scales, especially when we're talking about patriarchy, it had been pulled to a very distorted masculine energy of control and greed and corruption and, needing to fight and survive. Where feminine energy is really about flow and receptivity and allowance and compassion and love. And so that's what's happening, is the feminine energy on the planet is rising. Feminine energy within this connection is rising for both counterparts. That is being revealed. That is the truth. The truth for divine masculine is the truth of who they are, which is beautiful, expressive, emotional even, is coming to the surface. Now, divine masculines, those who embody the divine masculine energy, again, you have both, but you're the embodiment of really one or the other as your primary source of energy. But it's about balancing both energies out, because you have both at any given time. But it's really about balancing out the energies here. For the divine masculines particularly, what's happening is they are, where they have been too much in a place of resistance. They had been fighting their emotions. They had been fighting for control. They had been taking action from a place not of their intuition, but of a place of logic and reason and mindset, which is masculine energy, but it had been too distorted. It had been too skewed. They weren't balancing out that with the heart space. They weren't listening to their intuition in order to take action. They were listening too much to the distortion. They were listening too much to other people. They were listening too much to control, to, I have to make this happen and this is the only way. Now their divine feminine energy is rising within them. And so they're understanding, wow, if I listen to my heart is going to lead me to take the right action. If I listen to my heart is going to lead me and tell me what to do. If I listen to my intuition, I don't have to fight against everything and everyone. I don't have to have this guard up. I can be open. I can see myself clearly. That's the crux here. They're seeing themselves clearly where what was once kept hidden is now being revealed to them. They're being revealed to themselves. They're understanding themselves now. And because of that, what I love about this Sun card is the light is coming to their life with faith and love, allowing themselves to be happy. They have been denying themselves happiness because they have been denying themselves. Again, that control aspect. They have been sacrificing themselves for other people, expectations, to addictions, to old beliefs, to old habits, patterns. They have been sacrificing themselves. Now they're getting to know who they are again. Now they're understanding who they are again. Now they're being revealed to themselves. The blindfold is coming off. The guard is coming down. Their heart is being opened because their feminine energy is being revealed. They're embracing their feminine energy of their emotions, of their own compassion, of their own love and happiness and their own intuition. And that is bringing the sun out. They're allowing themselves to feel. They're allowing themselves to feel love. They're allowing themselves to feel happiness. They're allowing themselves to feel joy despite what is going on in physical circumstances. And that energy, especially with the couple here, that connection, they're recognizing this connection as part of that joy and part of that healing energy. That is what is moving them into calmer waters, more stability, more balance within themselves. And that stability, that balance within themselves, that inner peace, again, opening up their heart, dropping their guard, following their intuition, allowing themselves to feel, allowing themselves to understand themselves, connect to themselves and their divine feminine. As they do that, as they reach that inner peace and balance and stability within, that is what brings in this beautiful abundance. This is financial abundance. This is physical abundance. This is prosperity. This is stability. This is commitment within connections, within relationships. This is pure abundance being handed to them from the universe. It's like a reward from the universe. Spirit doesn't like me saying the word reward because that means it's almost like it's denying your birthright. This is your birthright. This is who you are. You are abundant by nature. You don't need to do anything in order to have this prosperity, in order to have this joy, in order to have this abundance. This is who you are as a soul, living in love, living in truth. It's just all this other stuff that was blocking it, all the karma and the trauma and the addictions and the habits and the patternings and the beliefs that were created from those traumas, from those addictions, from those patternings and societal conditionings. That's what was blocking you from seeing that this is your birthright. That is what is being revealed here now. And so this feels really like divine masculine energy here, but divine feminines, for you, a message for you, as your divine masculine, and again, take it as the masculine energy within you if you're resonating with this. As your divine masculine is rising into this energy, your connection is seeing more harmony, the sun at the center, light is coming to your connection, more joy is coming to your connection, more stability, balance, more calmness, more harmony is coming to your connection. And all of this abundance, all of those dreams, that fairy tale that we talked about, that's what's coming in. But you had to do the healing first, because this connection, this bond, this journey is all about inner healing and soul growth first and foremost. It's all about ascension, and you are the one who is ascending. Your soul is ascending. Now you're with your divine counterpart, so you're ascending together. This is the Sacred Union Path to Ascension. For those of you who are here, I talk about this in the Sacred Union Path to Ascension video. For those of you who are here, you're doing this with another person. But you cannot negate yourself. You cannot neglect yourself for the other person. It is about you because you are that one energy. So as you do the work, your divine counterpart does the work, and vice versa. And that's where you come into this harmony. Okay. Let's get... I really am getting called to this angels, gods, and goddesses. So I'm going to get some oracle cards here, and we're going to do a little bit more of an in-depth check-in. Not too in-depth, but just see what else is going on with the sacred union with some oracle cards. And then, like I said, we'll be back with some actual, like, deeper divine masculine, divine feminine energy. I just wanted to do a quick check-in on you guys, talk about where I've been, what's going on collectively, and just see where the energies are today. So, what's going on, Spirit? What's going on with this sacred union? What's going on with this sacred union? Divine masculine, divine feminine. Woo! Angel of manifestation. Beautiful, beautiful. And look at the blues here. This is blues. We have the indigos. We have the violets. This is all that feminine energy. Communication, intuition, and connection. That's what this is about. Angel of manifestation, your efforts, determination, and perseverance have paid off. That's this energy we were just talking about here. Again, they don't like me to say the word reward because this is your divine birthright. You are meant to have what you are creating. You are meant to have that joy and that happiness and not to struggle. But you are in the process of manifesting. You're still clearing out the karma. You're stealing out the gunk. You're clearing out the gunk. You're clearing out the soul sludge. All that stuff that was holding you back and blocking you from this joy, blocking you from this stability. And the more inner peace you find, the more stability you find, the more balance you find within, the more you embrace that joy and that happiness, the more you balance out your masculine and feminine energies, rise into that heart space, find balance in that heart space. Again, it's the masculine energy rising. When we're talking about the chakra system, the masculine energy rises, finding balance and stability within the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. The feminine energy balances out the throat chakra, the brow chakra, and the crown chakra, and brings that template down. And you meet on the bridge of the heart. That is where you manifest. Through the heart space, that's where you manifest and create, co-create with the world around you, your reality. That's where you create. That's where you manifest. That's where it comes into physical, tangible being. But it's all about balancing out the energies first. It's about clearing out anything that is out of alignment. It's about clearing out anything that is holding you back. Anything that is keeping you from being in the truth of who you are. Anything that is keeping you from connecting to yourself, which also keeps you from connecting to others because that guard is up. Once you drop the guard, you're able to be vulnerable. And once you're vulnerable, you're able to connect more closely with yourself and your truth. You're able to connect more closely with spirit. You're able to connect more closely with your divine counterpart. And you're able to connect more closely with the world around you, with those around you who you are co-creating with. That is that unity consciousness, understanding that there is no division, that everybody is playing a part, everybody is playing a role, everybody is co-creating with you. And so love and compassion for all truly. Doesn't mean that you have to, be in a relationship with everybody. Doesn't mean that, you have to embrace everybody as far as, if there are certain elements that don't connect with you. But accepting people as they are, non-judgment, appreciating them for what they're teaching you, what they've shown you, loving them as they are, and then you go on your way if that's what's necessary. It's all about love and compassion for all. You don't have to have relationships with everybody, but love and compassion for all, because we are all part of the same love. We're all part of the same source energy. We're all part, not just of the same planet, but of the same love, of the same source energy. I don't know how else to put it. That's the unity consciousness, individual expressions of source energy. And everybody plays a part. Everybody plays a role in our ascension, just like we play a role in everybody else's ascension. Manifestation here. This is what you're doing, especially for these sacred partners, as you're coming into alignment, as you're coming into sacred union, you are manifesting together. Okay, I want to see if there was anything else there, but I feel like that's it. Okay, I want to see what's healing within this connection. What's now healing within this connection? It's a very strong message, especially for Divine Masculines here, about connecting to the self. And again, Divine Feminines, take it for you as well, especially if you were where I was and feeling a little bit lost and disconnected. It's very strong about connecting back to the self, connecting back to God, source energy. Because that is truly that Trinity energy. As you connect to yourself, you connect to God, you connect to each other. But you cannot negate the connection to yourself. And this is all about truly knowing yourself. And the more you know yourself, the more you know God. The more you know God, the more you know yourself. And similarly, the more you know your divine counterpart, the more you know yourself. The more you know yourself, the more you know your divine counterpart. That's that Trinity energy. There is no separation. There is no division here. You are creating that oneness together. And because you're creating that oneness together, as you work through all this energy and come into more inner union, inner balance, inner peace, inner stability, that's where the physical manifestations take place. That's where you create together here. It's about being open. It's about being vulnerable. It's about knowing yourself and standing strong in your truth. Balance is the key here. Everything is about balance. You know, it's like this. It's like you stand strong in yourself. You stand strong in your truth. You don't be a doormat, but you don't be hostile either. You have that compassion. You have that love for other people. Or conversely, you know, if there's conflict, then you defend yourself, but from a compassionate standpoint. It's all about achieving that balance within. It's all about finding that inner peace within. Balance really is what creates this world. Balance is what transcends duality. And that's really what we're doing, is we're transcending duality consciousness. Okay, I don't want to get into all that. That's for an ascension energy update. Okay, what's healing at this time? Spiritual growth. You two are growing together. You are ascending together. If you are in limited contact or communication, if you are getting together and then feels like you're pulling back a little bit, know that that's part of your spiritual growth as well. That you're just integrating, that you're processing. What they're telling me is you guys might be receiving downloads individually and then coming together and exploring that together. Now, you might not be physically communicating that with each other, what you're experiencing. I do feel like those conversations are going to be opening up, especially as both of you become more spiritually attuned to each other. I do feel like you'll have more conversations of a spiritual nature if you're not already. But what's actually happening here is you are integrating and processing the downloads and the intuitive hits and the knowings that you're receiving in your physical relationship when you do come together. It's going to look different for everybody. Everybody's situation is going to look a little bit different. I'll use myself as an example. So my Divine Masculine and I, we had an instance where it was very dramatic. There was a lot of conflict in our physical environment, but we came back to the love. We communicated to each other. We both acknowledged that we did not want to let each other go. Not as a form of attachment, but as a form of we wanted to work through it together. And it was because we both had that inner knowing, both had that faith of this connection. We both received downloads to return to each other, where there was an actual, like, for maybe a couple of hours of physical separation. We both had that intuitive knowing not to give up. And so we came back together and worked it out. That's part of the spiritual growth that's happening. So it's going to look different for everybody. That's just one example of how I know to, like, one anecdote of how I know to explain it. But your Divine Masculine, Divine Feminines are receiving intuitive hits and knowings. That's part of them connecting to themselves and connecting to you. They're understanding themselves. They're understanding their connection. They're understanding their connection to the world and source. And so they're receiving intuitive hits and knowings and downloads as well. And so it's really about trust. Trust in this, have faith in this, because you truly are growing together. That's what's healing at this time. It's growth. And like I keep saying, you're doing this together now. Rowing in the same boat now. Where before you might have felt like you were individualized, like you were on separate paths. Again, now you're coming back together. Now you are rowing in the same boat into calmer waters, into more harmony, in the same direction. You were always in the same direction. I mean, that's part of the process. We talked about that in the past few readings as well. You're always going in the same direction, but it just felt like you were not. You were always, I don't have my book with me, but it's that circle. I'll use this as an example. It's that circle that they had channeled to me where you guys are that same energy. So you were always doing this together, but where you had once had that soul recognition and then it felt like you separated and you went your separate ways. It was just that you were on your separate soul growth paths because you had different experiences that you had to experience for this journey. But you were still doing this together. There was no separation. Now you're coming back in the physical. You're coming back to work together in the physical, and this is where you are. You're coming back to a point of convergence where you are now again in the same boat in your physical connection and working towards a physical relationship. Whatever that might look like, whatever that partnership looks like, you are creating and manifesting together because of the spiritual growth. It's like accelerated. Your spiritual growth together is accelerated because you have done the inner work. You have reached that inner union, that inner balance. And once you reach that inner union, that's when your physical manifestation of your physical relationship takes place. So I know a lot of you are like, well, is he going to come back? How does he feel about me? You don't have to ask. I mean, I get it. I want to ask too, That validation, though, is all within you. That validation is all within you. You have to trust your heart and your own inner knowing. And trust this connection, trust this journey, trust this progression that you are moving in harmony towards each other, towards all that physical reality stuff. Whatever it is that you want to create with your divine counterpart, whether it's a business or it's a marriage or it's a family or it's a life of travel or adventure or all of it. Whatever it is that you dream of as that fairy tale relationship life, that's what you're creating. But you have to go through this process first. This is ascension. This is what this connection, this journey is about. That's really, really important to understand. Spiritual growth, soul growth first. That's what this is about. You can't have outer union, that outer relationship, without that inner union first. It is all about your growth first. Knowing that as it's about you, it's also about your divine counterpart. As you're committing to you and your soul growth, you're also committing to your counterpart. There is no separation. There is no him, her out there. It's all within you. Okay. I feel, and look, we have soulmate on the bottom. I feel like, oh gosh. I hope this is making sense, you guys, because I don't know if it is, even to me. Because there's so much that's happening right now. I feel really called to encourage you guys to, again, look back at the past few readings because that's going to be relevant, really, really relevant right now. Even though I had a break of about 2 weeks and I wasn't doing any readings, look back at June, look back at the readings from May, even go back as far as possibly even March, because those readings are taking place right now. That energy and those readings back, they're even saying February, March, up until now, those readings that I channeled, really relevant now. So if this isn't making sense quite yet, go back to past readings. There might be messages in there for you that will resonate for you. I know this is a little bit higher than what I wanted to go. We will do a check-in on the divine masculine, divine feminine. Where are they actually in their physical world? Where are they actually in their headspace, their heart space? We'll be checking in on that stuff. How are they feeling about their divine feminine? How are you feeling about your divine masculine? We'll check in on all that love stuff. But right now, because we're in a place of accelerated ascension, it's higher level. This is higher level consciousness. So this is what this journey really is about. And this is what they want to get forward. This is what they want to get across. That you are connecting to yourselves. connecting to each other, connecting back to source. And not everything is being revealed just yet, but the more you connect to yourself, the more it will be. The more clarity you will have, the more vulnerable you are, the more you understand yourself, the more you communicate with others, the more that blindfold comes off, the more you'll have clarity about where you're going, the more the light is going to shine, the more you're going to be moving into calmer waters, more stable waters within yourself and your connection, and the more that's going to manifest into physical prosperity, abundance, love, harmony, relationship, and commitment. Okay? All right, so just for the fun of it, let's get how is, and they keep pointing me to, oh, look, and there's the Six of Cups too, see? And the Wheel of Fortune. So they keep pointing me to this and Knight of Cups. This is coming. This is coming in. This is not just an offer. This is not just an apology and communication. This is the cup being offered. This is that commitment. This is that knowing. This is that connection. This is that acknowledgement of what we were talking about here, the acknowledgement of the connection, the light shining on this connection. If it's not already here, this is what's coming. If you're not already experiencing it, this is what is coming. It is a permanent reunion. Again, you might take some time apart. You might take some time, where you go a day or two without talking. But that's normal, that's natural, that's integration, that's processing. Don't let that fear of past patterns keep you in that illusion. Keep coming back to the light. Keep coming back to the joy. Keep coming back to the open heart. Keep coming back to the love. Okay, how is Divine Feminine feeling about Divine Masculine at this time? How's Divine Feminine feeling about Divine Masculine at this time? How's Divine Feminine feeling about Divine Masculine? You deserve love. You are lovable. This feels very strongly like the open heart, like Divine Feminine, because she's loving herself and respecting herself. She has been clearing all of the fear, all of the old patternings, all of the old resentment and anger, coming back to this place of forgiveness. I feel like she's really shooting that arrow at the Divine Masculine and saying, you deserve love. And Divine Masculine is really feeling that and embracing it, not taking it and hoarding it like he did. I really feel like Divine Masculine is lowering his guard because he's feeling that feminine energy within him. He's feeling the love of the Divine Feminine energy and finally embracing that and allowing himself to feel that happiness. So Divine Feminines, keep opening up your heart. Keep coming from this place of compassion and open-heartedness and love for your Divine Masculine as you love yourself, as you connect to yourself, because that love is truly one and the same. Divine Masculines, how are you feeling about your Divine Feminines at this time? Divine Masculine, how are you feeling about your Divine Feminine? Divine Masculine, how are you feeling about your Divine Feminine? Forgiving and learning and honeymoon. Perfect. Yes. This is this energy here that we've been talking about. Forgiving and learning. I feel like this is really about the self. They're really forgiving themselves for past actions, past beliefs, past habits, past obligations that they were holding on to, past trauma they were holding on to, past versions of themselves they were holding on to, past relationships they were holding on to, whatever it was that was the past, they're letting go of that. They're really forgiving themselves for who they were, I'm hearing mistakes that they've made, but it doesn't really feel like a mistake, and they're acknowledging that it was a mistake, that they went through that for the growth experience, for the learning experience. They're acknowledging that. They're acknowledging that they went through everything that they did for a purpose, to bring them here to this point of acceptance of self. And from that point of acceptance of self, that's when everything changes for them. That's where their mindset around themselves changes. That's when their mindset around their future changes, where now it's not in victim mentality. Now it's not in lack or scarcity or loneliness or feeling guarded against anybody. Now they're being more open to themselves, and so they're allowing themselves to be more open to and with others, especially with their connection with their Divine Feminine. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. They are embracing the love all around them, especially from their divine feminines. They're embracing the love to and from family, friends, co-workers, colleagues, strangers. They're starting to see the magic. They're starting to see the love in the world where they had once really blindfolded them to it out of trauma or fear or any past pain or heartbreak. Because they're loving themselves more, because they're opening up themselves more, because they're connecting to their intuition more, connecting to source more, connecting to their own soul self more, they're opening to love more. And because of that, they're embracing joy and happiness where they didn't allow themselves to embrace joy and happiness before. And now, because of that, they're getting into that honeymoon energy, which is just the sun. That's what it is. It's moving into calmer waters. The honeymoon energy is enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. It's joy. It's happiness. It's allowing themselves to feel happy in the present moment despite the illusion of what's happening in the outside world. And again, the outside world is real. It feels very real. It's what's happening. It's the current reality, but they're recognizing that they can change the current reality. They're recognizing that they have the power in the present moment through forgiveness, through learning, through connection to themselves, source, and others, through that vulnerability, through not guarding themselves so much, through not ignoring their current reality. They know that they can change where they are going to move into a life of more harmony and bliss and happiness, to allow that into the life. And that's what they're doing. Divine Feminine is shooting that arrow of love and compassion to Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine is allowing themselves to receive that. And again, they're stepping into their feminine energy of receiving. Divine Masculine is a pro at receiving, but they have been in distorted masculine energy where they were just taking and taking and taking and hoarding, not giving. Now they're getting into that flow of give and receive. Now they're able to receive and allow that to integrate into them, allow themselves to truly feel that and accept it within themselves, to accept that love within themselves, that compassion for themselves, that love and respect for themselves, that integrity for themselves. And because of that, they're able to then offer that in return. Beautiful. All right, you guys, that is going to be it for today's Sacred Union Energy Update. We will be back this week with another collective reading. I do promise that we will be back. I am sending you guys so much love, so much light, and we'll see you soon. Bye.